Ah, such a good girl.
Come say hi.
Oh my god.
So I get the whole stigma of like everyone telling me I should be wearing a mask and asking why I'm not and stuff. And then they see me ticking and then they'll go, oh, can you stop doing that? And it's like, if you understood how tiring it was and how much effort it takes each day when I'm already tired, like to just not comment on it all the time and to not like judge me and stuff and stare, because like even being stared at is really draining sometimes. And then I spent the next 2 hours at the hospital with this one doctor telling me how I had a bird brain and a reptile brain.
Welcome back to Boneitch, a channel dedicated to ending the stigma of Tourette's. If you're new here and you're interested in learning more about Tourette's, please subscribe, that'd be really appreciated, and you'll get notified whenever there's a new video coming up. Today we'll continue our series, How We Tic, in which I talk with people with Tourette's or with a relation to Tourette's from different countries, from different ages, with different experiences to learn more about their lives with Tourette's. Today we're going to meet Neisha from the UK, and I think you'll really like her. So let's do this. So thank you so much for being a part of the series. I think it's really cool. And is it Neisha?
Yeah.
Neisha, okay. Hey, to start, maybe you can like introduce yourself. Who are you? What are your pronouns? What is, anything you want to say?
I'm Neisha. I'm from England. Pronouns are she, her, and I'm 18.
So yeah, I mean, you emailed me and hey. I thought it was really interesting that you said that your tics only started not so very long ago.
Yeah, so I mean, I was in a wheelchair for 4 years, and I came out of that, and literally, like, must have been about 5-6 months later, I was camping, and I had a seizure. They still haven't found out why. And literally the day after that, I just started having like weird head jerks, didn't know what they were, and just kind of ignored them because it wasn't too often. And then I think it was November time, like it happened loads, and my mum was like, okay, we're going to the hospital. And they were like, oh, you've got a tic disorder. And then I spent the next 2 hours at the hospital with this one doctor telling me how I had a bird brain and a reptile brain. And how that's the reason that I have tics, and how unless I'm like stupidly rich that like I'm never going to be able to get it fixed and stuff. And I was like, okay, because at the time I was like, they'd given me some medication, so I was like out of it. So I'm just sat there like, okay. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, we finally got home, and ever since then they've just kind of progressed from there really. So I started getting a lot more, I started having tic attacks. So like you probably see like the scratches on my face. I had one last night, and yeah, it's just we've been going back and forwards with the doctors trying to get appointments and stuff, and still haven't got any answers about it really. So It's been about, I think the seizure was in July, and it's just been since then.
Oh wow, so that's like 2020 was even more eventful for you than for many people. Wow. It's like, what did you do during lockdown? Well, I got tics.
I came out of a wheelchair and then I got tics.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, and I can imagine like being in hospital on medication already, not knowing like what's happening to you, and then having some doctor talk about bird brain.
It was literally for like 2 hours, and I was sat there and I didn't even know what was going on. I could hear his like voice in the background. I'm like,
wow.
My poor mum's got to deal with it for 2 hours. Sat next to her. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, she didn't have the fun medication to keep her entertained. Oh, wow. First, I mean, I've done, since I started the channel, a bit of more like research about Tourette's. I've never seen the word bird brain coming up anywhere.
Neither have I.
So that's an interest. I mean, I can understand like reptile brain, that's a part of the brain. I mean, I can understand that it could be something like that, but I don't see how that's important. But then, so were you diagnosed with Tourette's or with a tic disorder or?
So I'm not really sure at the moment because obviously I have vocal and motor tics, but it only started in July last year. I had like an EEG scan and then neurology never got back to me. So I've got an appointment with them in a month to see if they will diagnose me with something. But at the moment it's just a tic disorder that A&E kind of diagnosed me with at the time.
It could be a part of another like neurological thing or because of another medical thing, which
they're looking into FND as well. So that's to do with like the nerves firing wrong and stuff. So I was paralyzed for 4 years and they think that might have something to do with it as well. So like the seizure and the tics and that and everything else. But I don't know.
You don't know. Yeah. Well, I can't imagine what that's like. I mean, I didn't really start to get like tic attacks until I was, I don't know, like 25, 26, but mostly just because I overworked myself and didn't allow myself to tic. But I always had tics, so it wasn't like whoa, what the hell? So I can imagine that would be quite an adjustment to all of a sudden have tics and to just have to cope with that. So,
yeah, I mean, because like when I was in the wheelchair, it's kind of like I was used to people staring at me. I was used to like getting loads of questions and stuff. And then like all of that went for like 6 months and then like it started to come back again. Just kind of like adjusting to the one thing that I didn't enjoy was like people staring at me and things. So,
are there like differences in how people react to you being in a wheelchair as opposed to having tics?
When I was in the wheelchair, it was just kind of people would just stare and then they'd talk to my mum rather than me, as if like I wasn't able to talk to myself. But with the tics, it's more like I get stared and then like the occasional people go, "Oh, can you stop doing that?" I'm like, "Well, I can't." I did have one guy actually tell me that I should be in an asylum, and my tics kind of answered for me, and I just walked away and I was like, "No." But yeah, it is different, but it's kind of the same feeling that I get when I'm out. So
yeah, it's not good in fuck. Don't get stuck on a syllable. It's not good in any sense, of course, like to have the staring, because it's already like uncomfortable enough going out and not knowing what your brain is going to cook up at that moment is, yeah. So, I mean, do you live with your mum or do you live on your own? Or, yeah. So what was
I live
that?
with my mum.
Yeah. Do you have any siblings or it's just you and your mum? Do you have other parents? I don't know.
I've got my dad, but I don't see him much. I've got 3 brothers and 2 sisters on my dad's side, but I think they're all at least 11 years older than me. And on my mum's side, I've got one brother who's 11 years older than me, and he's got a son as well, who's 2. So that's the side I go with.
Yeah. I've 4 brothers and a sister, but they are all like way younger. So that's. But then, so you live like with your mom, like that's the household. Yeah. And the dog, of course. We'll go back to the dog. So then, for her, that must have been a bit of a adjustment as well. Like at first having a child in a wheelchair, and then now she has tics, like, and not knowing what it is. How has that been?
Well, I've had problems since I was 11. So I had a problem with my elbow where I was actually one of 2 in the world to have. Yeah, it's just kind of like the bone in there, like fragmented and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And then I was on crutches for ages, and then I was in the wheelchair, and then I came out and it was like everything was good, everything was fine. And then obviously the seizure happened and we didn't think anything of it. Well, we kind of did because we wanted to know why and stuff, but other than that, we didn't. And then we were out for I think it was my sister-in-law's birthday. We went around there for a while. And that's when she started seeing the tics and was worried, and we ended up going to the hospital about it. But since then, she's been really, really good with it. You know, she just kind of makes sure I'm okay. Steers clear when I'm holding knives and stuff.
That's great. Oh, wow. Yeah. And, wait, I had a thought and then I forgot it. Well, now I'm just thinking about the dog, because you mentioned that you had a dog. And I mean,
I can probably get her up on the bed in like a bit. She's currently eating a balls ear, so she's distracted over there.
Yeah, but so you have a dog, and you're training the dog to be like a service dog, or like.
So she's a Husky Cross Cane Corso, which is an Italian Mastiff, and I think she's just turned 8 months old. And she's training to be an assistance dog, to help with like anxiety and stuff. She helps ground me with my tics, or if I have like a panic attack or anything like that. She's also going to learn how to guide me a bit. So we've got new gear coming soon that's got a guide handle and everything on. So she's going to do that because like dogs have to be cleared to be able to do mobility work. But yeah, I mean, she's doing really, really good. It's quite funny. I say about stairs and then we go into the shop and people are staring at either me or the dog. But yeah, she's doing really, really well with it.
It's cool. Oh, I love dogs. That's that. I don't have time to have a dog anymore. I mean, working from home, of course, now I do, but when I get back to the office, of course, I can't do it. I want a dog again. I grew up with dogs, but of course, like, so is that like different than a service dog, or is that like?
No, they're the same thing. I think like a few countries, there's America and a few other countries call them service dogs. England call them assistants. But most of the time I can't even get that word out, so I call her a service dog because it's easier. I'm just like, she's in training, it's fine.
Yeah, because in some countries you have like emotional sports animals and like a whole spectrum of like working animals. But I know that there are like different terms for different type of like service animals, and then I don't know. So what's the dog's name? I didn't ask that.
Her name's Orla.
Orla.
It's an Irish name.
Really happy. With like your tics, how does that impact your life, your day-to-day life?
I mean, it's kind of like a weird thing because we're in lockdown at the moment, so I don't see people that often. My boyfriend's really good for it. Even from the start, he always has been. A few of my friends get weirded out by it. So when there was that period where we weren't in lockdown, I had a few friends come around, and some of them would either like make comments about it or just they tried to be funny, but they weren't. It just like became annoying, or they triggered it more and stuff. And I had that hitting tic, and my friend just grabbed my arm one day. She was around. She was like, "Don't do that," and I was like, I can't help it. Like, it doesn't actually hurt that much, but I can't help it. And where she was holding my arm, my other arm started doing it, and I never have it with this arm. And literally since that day, I've started having tics with this arm, whereas I never used to. But yeah, I find it's kind of mix and match whether like my friends are supportive of it or not. More in a case they don't know how to react to it, or they don't know how to help and things. But then again, I don't really know how to help myself sometimes because it's still new. So
I can imagine, yeah, just getting used to, or just communicating to people what helps and what you need, and that what helps in one situation, like when you're all just laughing, that it's funny then, but maybe not do it the other time, and just getting tics from something you didn't even know that you were going to get tics from, or that tics change. And oh wow. But your boyfriend, so he's really like kind of cool about it and supportive.
Yeah, I mean, he was there when I had the seizure. We weren't actually together then, but he was there when I had the seizure, and he was good with it, and he was always really good afterwards. And because obviously I was hiding my tics to start with, because I didn't know what they were. It wasn't happening too frequently and stuff, and I just didn't really want people to like worry, because obviously I'd just come out of the wheelchair. I didn't want people to worry about a new thing. And obviously when I did finally like explain what it was and stop suppressing them, they were a lot worse because I was like allowing them to come out. And he was fine with it from the start, and his family were and everything as well. So it was like really nice to go around there, and like everyone just kind of completely ignored me or just laughed with me about it. So yeah, it was quite nice.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's really good. Yeah. And I mean, that's a way to bond over a seizure. That's yeah. But then, so I mean, your boyfriend and his family can laugh at it, in an appropriate way. You and your mother. So do you find that humor helps sometimes when it's...
Yeah, I mean, I have like the occasional. I don't have like actual word vocal tics too often. I did a while ago. I was doing a college course thing, because I'm doing a couple of uni degrees, and I was trying to write stuff down, and I was doing a massive topic on depression, and it was really, really bad, because every time I went to write the word depression or read it, I kept shouting beans, and I had to actually put my book away because I started writing beans instead of what I was meant to be writing, so I gave up. But I have like the odd occasional like vocal tic, and my mum's just kind of like, "You okay there?" and just kind of laughed it off. My dog gets the brunt of some of them. I have one. Oh, hi. I have one of them where I'll just pat her on the head and just go pat pat.
Oh, it's so that's that dog. Ah, such a good girl.
Come say hi.
Oh my God. Before we continue, if you have Tourette's yourself, or a family of someone with Tourette's, or a teacher of someone with Tourette's, or a friend, and you want to be a part of this series, I'd love to talk to you. So check out the email address in the description box below, and I can't wait to meet you. Okay, let's continue. Oh, that's a perfect, such a good girl. Oh, no. I'm on camera now. No, I have to.
You can't come and sit on my lap. I'm sorry. I love you, but no. You're too big. No way. Go on, go lay down. She's probably just going to stay there now. They don't know.
That's not a cat. No, that's not a cat. It's a dog. Jesus, brain.
Good girl. Stay there. Which is like her side to the bed, and it's like she just always stays there. But her side to the bed is slowly increasing, so I've got like this much bedroom now.
Oh, I had that with my poodle. That I had like a queen size. I think it's queen size. I don't know, 2-person mattress on the floor with my boyfriend, and the poodle was like this big. But we both wake up like on the edge of the on the mattress, and the poodle just stretched out between us, just pushing us both, and just laying there, like spread out, like this is my place. So,
it was like when my boyfriend would come and stay around, like we'd kind of work it so like we were both on one side of the bed, she would have the other. But somehow every single time she'd end up between us, and we've both got like no bed, and she's just like, yeah, I'm comfy now.
It's very slowly, it's like sneakily, like stealth.
Yeah. She just like sneaks up with her paws and just lays there looking at me like, please.
Yeah, you don't know when it happened, but then you look over and you're like, wait, why am I on the edge of the bed? It's just, how did you do that?
Both my legs are just hanging out the bed and I'm holding on for dear life.
Hey. So you mentioned was it FND, so functional neurological disorder?
It's something that someone said to me about. So I have EDS, which is ehlers-danlos syndrome. It's a connective tissue disorder. And there are a few symptoms that are very similar with that and FND. FND is mainly like the nerves. They either fire too much, they fire in the wrong places, or they don't fire at all. So it's caused me like, I was paralyzed for 4 years because of it. It causes like sleep problems, sight problems, like eating problems, so like gastro problems, which I have as well. And also like involuntary movements, sleep problems, I don't know if I said that. And like a few other things. And I basically have like all the symptoms that are on it. There's like sensory issues as well, which I have. And I've never really been properly diagnosed with a lot of things because hospitals don't like recognize an EDS. But I got diagnosed and then recently found out that they undiagnosed me because they never formally wrote it down. I know. So,
but at least you have a bird brain, so that's
yeah, it's the reptile bird.
Yeah.
But yeah, because of the seizure and because of the tics that I now have, and also because of like the paralysis and a few other issues, like my sight is deteriorating and stuff. Because of all of them, it's kind of like I have the EDS, which is a separate thing, but I'm now looking at FND because someone mentioned it to me. And when you look through the symptoms, it's kind of like, well, I have all of those. And it all kind of makes sense if you think about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, wow. I think it's so weird how, like, some diagnoses are, like hard to get, even if you really have them. Or they're, like, misdiagnosed and then, like, overdiagnosed in the wrong group of people and then underdiagnosed in so many. Like, with ADHD, in 4-year-old boys, it's overdiagnosed, but then for most people, it's underdiagnosed. And
yeah.
And people just don't take you seriously, but it's like, these are the symptoms. I do this. I know that. I know myself. It's just, yeah. And then having, oh, she is beautiful.
No, you can't have a cuddle. Go away. Fuck off. Go. She's like, but you're talking to someone and I want attention. No, go away.
Because, I mean, don't know a lot about, is it EDS? Yeah, EDS.
Yeah.
But then I know that like connective tissue is like everywhere. So it's pretty important and then it can impact a lot of things. But does it have like neurological things as well?
I don't really know all of like what it can cause. I know it can cause a lot of mental issues. So it can actually be the reason someone has autism if they have it as well. So like I was told I might have Asperger's and that's very closely linked to EDS. It's like there's heightened mental illnesses around it and stuff like that. It can also cause neurological problems like conversion disorder. So if you've had a trauma, like your body just shutting off a body part, or just there's people that have like not been able to feel limbs. There's people who've not like have gone blind because of it and stuff. And it's a temporary thing, but it is to do with the nerves and the psychological side of it rather than the physical side. But it's all to do with like the brain being too stretchy in a way to do with it. I don't really have many of those. Obviously I have like anxiety and things, but I just have like the regular dislocations of it.
Just the normal dislocations. The easy stuff. Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, because in the end, of course, we're all like electrical meat vessels. You know? I mean, in the end, like if your brain, it's still a physical thing, and then when something fires up wrong, weird stuff happens, like tics, which are like weird and annoying and fascinating. I think just to like having weird, like where do they come from? Like where does the brain? I mean, I can understand the science of it and like the neurotransmitters and sure, but then yesterday I shouted like top shop stop. And where in my brain does that like form? And then I want to do something and my brain says, no, the thing you're going to shout right now is that. Like, how?
I was in the shop. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. I went to the shop to get something quickly. And there was this guy who looked at me and he looked really, really angry, like someone you just shouldn't go near. And all of a sudden I was just looking and I went, ho. And I was like, oh no. And he just glared at me and like stormed off and went, I'm going to go and tell someone. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. But it's like, I was trying so hard not to look at him, not to think about him or anything, because I knew full well my tics like do something that I really shouldn't. And yeah, I did that and I was like, oh, shit. Wow. And then my mum was like, oh, we need to go back into the shop to get something, because she wasn't there at the time. She came to pick me up and then went, we need to go back. And I was like, no.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh no, I've done that. Oh wow, yeah. Like going into like, I don't know, like a concert and there's a bouncer outside and already, because I'm already like twitching a bit, so it's like, and I'm Dutch, so like the stigma is there and it's appropriate, that's fine, but I'm like this. And he wants to search me, I just shout, I have loads of drugs on me. But not even like in a ticking voice, just saying it like that. And I'm like, oh fuck, this is going to take a while. Or when I got my a haircut, which seems so long ago, but the hairdresser washing my hair and I shouted, I love you. Then he started to cut my hair and that was, yeah, that happens. Tics are weird. That's just
yeah.
Oh, I think
she's doing so well. It's like she's gonna stay over there. She's gonna be really good. And now she's.
I think she wants to be on YouTube. That beautiful face. You can never have too much dog in a video, so that's.
I'm just glad. No, look, seriously, stay over there. I'm just glad that like our other dog is like out there somewhere, so she's not coming in as well.
Like all of a sudden an extra like zoom screen pops up and there's the dog like, wait.
You should have just made a zoom screen for her.
Yeah, like a dog cam. So, okay. So you mentioned that that people, I mean, still stare at you, even though you're not in a wheelchair anymore, but now because of your tics. Is it that you would wish that people would understand about tics that they don't? Just like general people, not even just people that you, like friends that you can explain it to, but just the people on public transport, like those people, what should they just understand about tics?
I guess just like mainly the fact that it can't be controlled and like how tiring it can be sometimes. I have had a couple of times on trains and stuff, and I've had people like questioning me, I've had people staring at me, and I can't wear a mask because I have a tic where I either ping it on my face and it really hurts, or I eat it. So I'll just open my mouth and just bite on it really hard, and obviously I can't wear it afterwards. So I get the whole stigma of like everyone telling me I should be wearing a mask and asking why I'm not and stuff. And then they see me ticking and then they'll go, oh, can you stop doing that? And it's like, if you understood how tiring it was and how much effort it takes each day when I'm already tired, like to just not comment on it all the time and to not like judge me and stuff and stare, because even being stared at is really draining sometimes, even though it's nothing's actually happening. Just being stared at can be draining.
Yeah, it's like you can't just be yourself, just relax and just exist. It's constant knowing that you're being watched. Oh, I can relate to that. Oh my God, yes. Yeah, I think that's like in theory, many people understand that tics are somewhat involuntary, but then somehow they have like a limit. Like, I understand you can't help it, but if you do this thing when you tic, then that goes too far. But you don't choose that. That's what involuntary means. You can't.
It's like when I do have vocal tics where I'm saying stuff and it can be like in my normal voice or like in a weird voice, and people will look at me and they'll go, well, that's not a tic. And it's like, it was. Like trying to like explain to people that like, even though it sounds like I'm just being a total like pain in the bum and like I'm walking around just calling you names, I'm not actually calling you names. Like I can't actually help it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. And then on the one hand, of course, you shouldn't have to explain yourself all of the time, even though like realistically that's what's true. But then to have people just not believe you or be like, well, but then, like when I had a coughing tic at the supermarket and then shouted, I have corona at people, and then, oh my God, it was horrible. And they got really aggressive. And then I explained, okay, I have Tourette's, I can't help it, I'm sorry. They said like, oh, then, but you shouldn't be going to the supermarket if you have Tourette's then, because you're offending people. And I have to eat. That's like, I can't just stay inside just because it's uncomfortable to you. It's uncomfortable for me as well. I'm sorry, but I'm actually
I have like
really
a weird coughing tic. I have this weird coughing tic where like most of the time it just sounds like I'm clearing my throat and it's fine. But I have had a couple of times in shops where I'll just like do this really, really loud cough as a tic and people just stare at me. And obviously with coronavirus and everything at the moment, they're like moving away from me and like questioning me as to why I'm in the shop. I'm like, I'm not actually coughing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Cause for me, like my coughing tic was like a type of tic that was the tic, cause I would like hide my tics a lot as well. Cause I wasn't diagnosed and I just felt that I had to suppress it to not, cause I was just being weird. But coughing, because I'm an asthma patient as well, so, I cough anyway. So coughing was one of those things I could just let out, like, that's fine. But now that's the one that you really shouldn't be doing. I'm like, oh no, what's left? So that's one that I'm really struggling to hold in. Yeah. But it's involuntary. I don't know. Maybe I'm being really optimistic that I think that if the world would just understand Tourette's better, that they would just be kinder to people.
Yeah. I mean, I still have like, I think I explained to someone the other day, I was like, oh, I have a tic disorder. And they're like, oh, what's that? So I explained that it was like similar to Tourette's, but it's not, like trying to tell people that I don't actually have Tourette's, but it's similar to Tourette's, but it's not Tourette's, and like those kind of things. And I either just get the, oh, well, shouldn't you be swearing kind of thing, or like, like people just not understanding it at all and me having to stand there and explain it. But once I start talking about it, it happens more. So then I'm like sat there, I can't explain it because I'm ticking every couple of seconds. So I'm like, just look it up.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like Tourette's is like a conjoined twin that the moment you start talking about it, like it hears and just starts, well, were you talking about me? It doesn't help. Hey. I'm not a cat. That's true. Fuck off. Woo. Of course, now it happens.
I don't know. It's kind of that weird thing of like, you want people to ignore them, but you also want people to like make you feel better about it in a way. So like, I want people to ignore my tics, but at the same time, if I'm like having a hard day or if I've said something really, really stupid, I kind of want them to, I don't know, I don't want them to make me feel better, but like show that it's okay kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like if I shout like obviously something bad in a shop, I don't want people to like get angry at me, but I don't want them to completely ignore it because obviously like it might be funny or something.
Yeah. So like acknowledge it, but don't make it into like a a big thing that it doesn't need to be. But yeah.
I remember having one friend come round and I was having a bad day and I was having tics like every couple of seconds, and literally every tic I had, she was going, "You're right there. You're right there. You're right there." And it was like, she was saying it so much. It was just like this broken record. And I was like, just ignore me. All I was doing was like having little head jerks and stuff, or like saying the odd thing. And she was like, and then I was just being my normal self and I was just like saying things. And most people can tell the difference between like me and my tics. I like every time I went to speak to her, she was like, "Is that you or is that your tics? Is that you or is that your tics?" And I was like, I give up.
Yeah. Oh wow. And that's the weird thing. Like, yeah, like sometimes people just ignore them to a level that it's, I mean, like they think that you don't even notice them. Like I notice when I'm shouting something, like and I'll be like, "That's funny," and everyone else is like just ignoring it or being like, "Oh, are you okay?"
Yeah.
That's even worse. But does back to the dog. I'm so sorry. Does your dog know the difference between like your tics and what's not a tic? Do you feel that?
Yeah, so I mean at the moment she's learned to stop when I have my hitting tics, she's learned to stop them. So if I'm standing up or I'm sitting down, she'll jump up and like push my arm away. If I'm laying in bed, she'll lay over me. It's called deep pressure therapy. Basically like grounding me and just like being like a portable weighted blanket, I suppose, which kind of settles them down a lot. She doesn't understand all of my tics, so my scratching ones, she doesn't really pick up on them. I've actually had a few times where she's actually started scratching whilst I'm having a tic attack and scratching myself. She'll just start scratching herself.
Like, yeah, this is enjoyable. Like,
yeah,
finally a human being that understands this. Yeah, I mean,
I have some tics. Obviously, I have my main one with her. Most of them are like telling her I love her and stuff really weirdly, because I don't do that with people. But with her, it's either like really nice things, or if she's in front of me, I'll just tap her on the head or like tap her belly and just go pat, 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 like repeatedly. And she's just looking at me like, "Do you mind?" Because it's not hard or anything, but she's just like, "I was having a belly rub and now you're just patting my belly and talking to me." But yeah, she does understand them. She understands obviously the ones I've taught her. So it's quite hard to teach because obviously when I fake a tic to teach her, it either becomes a real tic that I haven't had before, or it's a tic that I already have that I've just triggered and is non-stop now. So obviously like the punching one, I sit there and I'll fake doing this and she'll jump up and she'll stop it. But when I'm practicing it, you can guarantee afterwards I'll have that tic quite a lot throughout the day and it'll be really bad because I've had to fake it to teach her. So obviously like I haven't taught her the scratching one. I haven't taught her like a few of the other ones because I don't want to trigger them. So it's trying to do it on a really good day or trying to do it. My mum's helped a little bit. So she'll fake a tic that I have and I'll teach all how to stop her on my mum rather than myself, to try and help a bit. But yeah.
So dogs are so cool, and that's just really cool that you have a dog that does that, and then you're training your dog to help with that. I think it's really fun.
I'm hoping to make a career out of it.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Oh, dogs are like, hi, yes, I am really cool.
Like, I want to know.
Yeah, you want to like train dogs like for like specifically for like neurological things, or like in general as service dogs?
Yeah, so I'm doing 3 uni degree courses at the moment online, because I couldn't go to college and stuff. I ended up dropping out. So I've got child psychology, which I'm really interested in, assistant guide and therapy dog training, and the background around them, and then generalized dog training. I'm currently actually helping a friend who's got a dog she's in a wheelchair, and she's got a 5-month-old lurcher. And she wants to train him up to help her as an assistant. So I've been helping her recently, and it's kind of helped me like actually figure out that I want to do that. Mainly helping like younger people, like under 18, in having either guide dogs or assistance dogs, but more like, I don't know how to explain it, because there's a lot of things where you have like charities, and charities when they take people that are over 18 or people who have like severe disabilities. So primary school age can't have guide dogs and things like that. So it's kind of like working around that and trying to find ways that like a pet dog could become a assistance dog, or, you know, like things like that, and trying to like help children rather than adults to have like assistance animals or guide animals and stuff like that.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. Oh, I really like that. I mean, I think that would help so many people with any like disability law. I mean, people kind of fall through cracks and it doesn't work, and then there's no money, and those dogs are really expensive and everything. Yeah. But that is so cool to be able to help people to like train their dog, or to get on that path, and to have someone who has that experience. And work with dogs. Yeah,
it was kind of, I've been through this like massive like stage where I was trying to apply to like nurseries and stuff, because it's like, oh, I want to work with children and like, you know, work with special needs children and things like that. And then I was sat there, because I went to an animal college before I did those things. So I was at an animal college, like, I want to work with animals. And then I moved to, I want to work with like children with special needs and stuff. And then one day my boyfriend actually turned around and said to me, he was like, well, is there no way you can do both? And obviously I was looking at getting Orla at the time. Didn't know what she was going to be, or that she was going to be Orla at the time. But I was looking at getting an assistance dog to owner train. So you can either charities train it up and you pay for them to do that, or you train it yourself. And I wanted to get one to owner train and stuff, so because it would kind of help me as well. And it was only when I got her that I was kind of started training her and started like really researching into it. I was like, I actually really want to do this as a career. So yeah, I've got 3 courses at the moment that I'm trying to get through, including like a small business section on how to actually make a business with it. So yeah, hopefully.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, no, I think, yeah. I mean, it sounds really cool. And especially because you have like first-hand experience, and then being able to kind of test it out. Because that's what I like. In theory, I want every career, but then you have to do it and be like, okay, is this really something that I want? And then to be actually really excited about it, and then find ways to do it. I think that's really cool. And I think that people need that, and that will really make a difference. So that's really cool. More dogs, I think also for everyone.
Yeah. I think also because I struggled so much with being able to get help, especially like where I live, like my area, there's nothing for anything really. So I actually, before lockdown, I did judo, special needs judo. So because I was paralyzed, I did it on my knees, and I got really far with that. And like, it's kind of sad because I was almost a black belt before Corona happened. But I still had to travel, and I still had to look for ages to find that. There's nothing like local to do. And once I got into the judo, you know, we did the World and European Championships and things like that. Once I got into that, I found a lot of other sports that did do that. But I mean, we used to travel up to Amsterdam every year for the World and European Championships. And it was only then that we started traveling around and doing stuff. Yeah, when we actually started traveling, I actually found like other sports I could do that were inclusive and stuff. But it's like with the dogs, like training dogs, there's nowhere near me that owner trains assistance dogs or anything, or like helps you or anything like that. So it's kind of like something that I want to do, because I kind of want to help everyone, because I didn't get the access to those things, but I want other people to be able to have it. So I want to like learn so I can give them the access that I didn't get.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I think it's really cool that you want to make that more accessible, because you have a good experience with that. I really like that. I mean, not trying to put like to shame like other people's lockdown hobbies. Like, I made sourdough bread. Well, I got a service dog and I'm trying to become...
It's been a very interesting year.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It is weird here. Cockatoo, fuck off. Hey. Benny Bose. Yeah, I think looking at my notes, because else I get angry at myself, that we talk about everything. I have a dog in capital letters, like, don't forget. So cool. Really cool. So, yeah, thank you. Really. I mean, so nice. I think that's really cool. Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Neisha, for being a part of this series. Show Neisha some love in the comments. It's really deserved. And I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.